Lesson 1: Introduction to Economic Theory. Over the past years, the study of economics has widened and encompassed a wider scope of topics. Economics studies how prices of land, labor, and capital are determined and how these prices are used to allocate scarce resources. Economics looks into the behavior of financial market and how they allocated capital to the rest of the economy. Economics looks into the distribution of income and into ways of helping the poor without causing harm to the country's economic performance. Economics studies the impact on growth of government spending, taxes, and budget deficits. Economics examines the movement in income and employment during the different stages of the business cycle with the goal of developing government policies that will improve economic growth. Economics looks at trade patterns among nations and analyzes the impact of trade barriers. Economics examines growth in developing countries and suggests ways to encourage the efficient use of resource. So we have the economic activity. Man's basic economic activity consists of efforts to satisfy human wants with the use of goods and services. Three elements are involved in this objective of satisfaction as discussed in this section. The first is human wants. The best description that can be made of wants is that they are unlimited. Human wants vary from the needs for survival, otherwise known as the basic needs. Example, food, clothing, and shelter, to higher needs for a comfortable and for more meaningful life. The second element is use of resource. The basic economic resource of a nation consists of land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. The last element is the technique of production, which shows how resources are used and combined in production. In effect, the basic activities of man also constitute the basic exchange that take place between the business firm and the consumers. Some economic problems are unemployment of labor or other resources, economic instability, low levels of growth and development, inequality in income distribution resulting in the concentration of nations' wealth in the hands of a few. Last is determination of the type economic system to adapt to fit the country's peculiar conditions and needs. Next is we have the analysis and economic policy. When we say economic analysis, it is the process of directing economic relationships by examining economic behavior and events and determining the causal relationship among the data and activities observed. So, the purposes of economic analysis. Economic analysis is an aid in understanding how economy operates because it explains how economic variables are related to each other. It pertains prediction of the result of changes in the economic variables, and last, it serves as basis of policy formulation. Next, we have the economic policy. Economic policy consists of intervention of courses of action taken by the government or other private institution to manipulate the result of economic activities. The economic policy adopted by the government may be monetary, fiscal, or trade for the purpose of achieving economic welfare. So we have the function of economic theory. First is to explain the nature of economic activity. Second, to predict what will happen to the economy as facts change. Economists differentiate between positive economics and normative economics on the basis of whether the users of theory concerned with causal relationship only with they intend some kind of intervention in economic activity to later the course of that activity. So the positive economics. Positive economics is supposed to be completely objective, limited to the use out to the cause and effect relationship of economic activity. It is concerned with the way economic relationships are. Next, we have the normative economics. Normative economics is concerned with that ought to be, that is possible objectives to be achieved must be ranked and choices must be made among these objectives. Next, we have the price theory and economic theory. Price theory or microeconomic theory and the theory of the economy as a whole, macroeconomic theory, constitute the basic analytical toolkit of discipline of economics. Microeconomics, when we say microeconomics, it is concerned primarily with the market activities on individual economic units such as consumers, resource owners, and business firms. It is concerned with the flow of goods and services from business firms to consumers. The composition of flow and process is process for establishing relative prices of the component parts of the flow. Next, we have the macroeconomics. When we say macroeconomics, it treats the economic system as a whole rather than treating the individual economic units of which it is composed.